Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. As always, on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. Paul Stone coming up on the program in 30 minutes. His best bets for the national title game. We'll ask about the transfer portal as well in college football. And we'll hit the hoops card tonight coming up in a few minutes. For those just tuning in right now, again, Mike Tomlin stepped down. It's official as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers earlier today. He was hired back in 2007 at the age of 34. He's gone after 19 years. And now multiple reports are coming out suggesting that he is not going to, doesn't want to coach next year in the league, as I was hinting at in the first hour of the show. All right, so it's either take the year off. Hell, he should have a first-class ticket booked to Hawaii for like 2 months.
Go to the Fox show. How long are they going to keep the same guys?
Get some new juice in there.
Yes. Yeah. Been there forever. Go there.
And then maybe he can just have a really good offseason, relax a little bit, unwind, not worry about football, and then come back and get ready to do a TV job sometime down the road.
What weird game. The 23 in a row on Monday night at home ends. Houston wins their first road playoff game ever. Fairbairn loser. Thanks to Stroud.
How about the missed extra point?
Yeah. Blocked. So that prop cashed with ease. Missed extra points over the weekend. That was no problem. It was 1.5, like plus 250.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I'll bring it up one more time. The new edition of Pod to the Futures is out. JVT and I talk about it every single Monday night or Tuesday. Updated future numbers. We've kicked this around in the show about grabbing some kickers right now to win the MVP in the Super Bowl in case you get a low-scoring game. And we said Fairbairn last night when we recorded was 901 at DraftKings.
Oh, wow.
2,001 is out there at FanDuel.
Really?
2,001. If they make the Super Bowl, you'd like to have a little 2,001 in pocket on a guy who set the record from... Come on.
Set the record, hit from 51 in those elements, made 6 last week.
Yeah, sure.
That's not bad.
Like last night doesn't mean anything to me. The guy is awesome.
The guy, no. What? No. The guy I would want would have been Little, just because you can maybe hit from 68, 65, whatever. But they vomit on themselves. But that's not bad. That's a good one.
All right, so tonight in the association and college basketball, good schedule in both sports. We have to start with the Spurs and the Thunder.
Yep.
Fourth meeting this season, and the mighty Oklahoma City Thunder are 0-3 against San Antonio. Last 2 games were not even close. San Antonio scorched them.
Look at the spread.
Hey, look at this, yeah. They're 9.
0-3 against them, still laying 9. Have their number. 33-4 against the rest of the league. But again, it's been a struggle here. You know, that loss, they blew the game to Phoenix. They lost in Minnesota. They almost lost to the Jazz. There's been a lot of escapes here. They were getting buried. Was it Miami? They were down big against Miami and came back. I mean, they certainly are not playing like the team that most people thought were going to win 70 games, and every book put up would they break the record or win 70 games. So based on what I've watched in the first 3 meetings, I got to take the Spurs.
I've heard a lot of talk today about how Oklahoma City is the side here because it's the 4th and final meeting of the regular season, and they have it in their brains like, we can't possibly lose to this team again. They have to go out there and make it right game for them. That's all narrative to me.
Yes.
It did. I mean, it got increasingly worse. And I heard the same thing, by the way, when they got killed December 23rd. I heard the same thing on Christmas Day. Well, they're not going to lose to them again. It got worse again on Christmas Day.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you got burned a couple of times already, to me, I don't want, maybe they win tonight by 25. I'm not betting them. Not going to do that.
I'm with you.
There's an angle here where San Antonio just is a bizarre matchup for them. And by the way, 9 points, pretty big number. And to your point, it's not necessarily all about just how OKC has struggled against San Antonio. Their recent performances have been kind of dog crap against some really mediocre teams. They should have lost to the Jazz.
Yes.
As one.
Yep. That also goes back to a discussion we briefly mentioned that other people threw out there about, hey, what's going on with the whistle? It's not this parade to the free throw line. Other people are pointing out the shots haven't been falling, but this parade to the free throw line since the Minnesota game has stopped when Finch lost his mind and got tossed.
They have to acquire, I would think, a 3-point shooter at the deadline. and they can make that happen pretty much whenever they want because they can come over the top from what any other team would offer. I don't know if Presti would want to do that or not, but to go out and acquire a guy who could be like the most elite three-point shooter on the market, OKC has what it takes to go and get that guy. They need help from downtown.
Dort's questionable, and it's been a crazy run here to go from we're going to win 74 games to the Spurs are going to be a factor and give us problems in the playoffs.
Okay, so it was vile and nasty for the Lakers again last night.
How many come-to-Jesus meetings can you have here, and it's not working? That is an embarrassing loss to get beat against Sacramento. And now you got the turnaround as LeBron and Luka are questionable. Atlanta 2.5, and Love and Life after they unloaded Trae Young. That it's just, it was so promising. After that hot start, team was playing well, and now the defense has just been putrid. And there's been several times where Redick has called out the Lakers, and also some bizarre comments coming out of Los Angeles. LeBron about, I really don't have the ball that much, and Luka was great last night, but teammates were lousy, and the defense did not show up. I can't recommend the Lakers here.
There's also this. Did you see this taken off today where there's a reporter or multiple reporters out there saying that this evidently Rich Paul does a podcast?
Correct.
And it's like causing friction.
How so?
Saying that he's talking about people
inside baseball?
People that they get. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Make this move, make that move. I don't know about this guy on the roster, all this. Why does he have a podcast anyway talking about the team? I don't know. It seems just completely unnecessary. This game opened up at 1, got as high as 3.5. They're now at about 2.5 in this game. Atlanta, for what it's worth, Steve Makinen, vsin.com, 18-33 straight up, 15-36 ATS, playing their third straight road game since April of 2021. Now, but again, factor in who might not be there for the Lakers tonight. And Luke, can you look? You mind looking this up? Stormy said this earlier today on Money Moves. Of the Lakers' losses this year, almost every single one of them has been by double digits. So from a betting standpoint, like last night, hell, if you just took King's money line, it was golden. But if you're going to lay alternate lines with some of these bad teams that are beating the Lakers, you're cashing in a fortune when they lose. Because when they lose, they go down hard. I mean, it's crash and burn time like Top Gun.
Yeah. They still have a good record. But
they're tied for first in the division.
Wow, this is getting interesting now. They are now even in the division with Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And there were some huge numbers out there on the Suns. What a story. Lakers have lost 3 in a row. The Milwaukee game was a 4-point game. But she is correct that when they lose, they get blasted.
It's 13 out of... They have 14 losses on the year, 13 by double digits.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's impressive.
And remember, they started the year without a loss for like the first 10, 11 times with the clutch games, which means a 5-point game with 5 minutes or fewer. They were undefeated. Couldn't lose any of them. So it was fluky anyway.
Yeah.
What they were getting away with.
And they got a big road trip coming up next week.
They have the 6th hardest SOS remaining. They're plus 150 to win that division. The Suns also have a very difficult schedule. 5th hardest, they're plus 170. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but the Warriors have the 4th hardest SOS. They're plus 280. I don't see the Warriors winning that division.
Oh, they have plenty of issues, too. They're king of drama.
Oh, yeah.
There's always something going on. Draymond, Butler, the owner, Kerr's ticked off.
Did you see the stuff about how that could be the team? This is before the Anthony Davis injury, where the Warriors would want to make a move for Anthony Davis. Then he gets hurt. He's going to be out for pretty much the rest of the regular season. That's confirmed as of today. And still teams want to trade for him now, evidently, according to reports, hoping that he can come back for the playoffs. How does that trade look?
Nice job, Nico. We're concerned about Luka and his health. You traded for a guy who's always hurt. Oh, man.
There is an angle tonight. The Nuggets are playing at the Pelicans. Current number on this game, Denver. And by the way, Adelman has done a great job righting the ship after the Joker injury. They're laying 1.5 in this game. They open up 3, so money on New Orleans. Total is at 233.5. Home teams in this matchup are 13-1 ATS last 14 games. And I know JVT was making the case that he likes the Pelicans in this game tonight anyway. Quite the trend, 13-1 ATS last 14.
Beautiful. How about the college? How about this with Kansas? Bill Self has been there 23 years. This is the 5th time he's a home dog. And the second biggest dog he's been at home. taking on Iowa State. The previous time was Baylor, and he won the game.
Well, Iowa State's an absolute machine. Kansas taking a little bit of money. I saw 4.5 of that number out there last night. They're down to 3 right now at Circa. They're certainly a true national title contender. Adam Burke on the website was making the case for Iowa State. Just they're too good.
He might be right.
And Kansas is going to be overmatched here in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you some numbers.
Think about that. He's been there 23 years. And he's only been a home dog 5 times. Wow.
I think some of those games have been in like the most recent. Weren't they a dog at home to Houston recently too? Wasn't that the game last year?
The overtime game, that crazy game. I thought that would maybe pick. But
okay,
yeah.
all right. Bart Torvik has Iowa State by 0.5 point. But Eric Haslam has him by 7. G-Unit Greg Peterson at vsin.com has him a 4-point favorite. Also trying to find like big differences in between some of these projection sites, Greg Peterson and the actual numbers themselves. Here's one. Wisconsin's laying about 1.5 tonight on the road against Minnesota.
This is a letdown.
Greg Peterson makes him 4. Eric Haslam makes him 5. This is the definition of a letdown spot.
Yeah.
You just beat the number 2 team in the country, and you had your best game of the year by a mile. And now you're expected to go to Minnesota off that game on the road and win? I don't know about that. First of all, they hit 15 threes against Michigan. They're going to have another really good shooting night tonight? Tough to do.
Miami of Ohio in action as well. We're only down to a couple unbeaten. They're 17-0. They're playing tonight.
We will reset a very busy day of NFL news coming up, and we'll get to the latest divisional numbers in the NFL next year on VSiN.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So here's an update to the Bills wide receiver room. Not good news for Gabe Davis over the weekend. What was that, the ACL?
Yep.
Shavers out as well, same thing. Current wide receivers for Buffalo, Khalil Shakir, who was great against Jacksonville, Brandon Cooks, Keon Coleman. They have Curtis Samuel on IR, but he's going to return to practice.
This is crazy. Coleman's been suspended. You hope they get Samuel back finally, and that you acquired Cooks not that long ago. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
If Allen's able to pull this one off, and that was also shame on Jacksonville because it was all those targets and everything was completed to Shakir. And you certainly have the tight ends you got to worry about too, but this is just bad news every single day for Buffalo.
They have McCall Hardman as well on the practice squad. That doesn't really move the needle at all.
What are you thinking for props?
I think it's going to be...
Come on, Denver's got to win this game.
It's going to be Shakir again, isn't it?
Yes. Don't you? I mean, with Denver's defense...
No, I bet Buffalo. I'm sticking to it.
Oh, man. Peyton had some good comments. It's been an interesting week of practice. She was very salty, was the quote, because he didn't like how they played against the Broncos and how the offense struggled.
Against the Chargers.
So, excuse me, Chargers. Yep, thank you. So, another team, 1 seed, -3 turnover differential, with a ton of 3-and-outs as well. And you're right, he does some bizarre play calling too. And 0 for 3 in the red zone against the Chargers in that Week 18 game.
Can I interest you in a Bills-Patriots AFC title game?
The Fugazi Bowl, absolutely.
Well, everybody's Fugazi. I sent out a tweet Sunday night.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, the traction won't stop. The Northeast not exactly happy with yours truly.
Oh, because you point out a fact that the Patriots have beat one. Yeah, how dare you point out a fact? Yeah.
Suddenly, we have bitter Patriots fans after they went on the most magical 20-year run in the history of sports, and that was after they were an irrelevant franchise for ever. And then all of a sudden, they're telling you that they created the game of football. Good stuff, guys. I like it. But no, they haven't played anybody good this year for the most part, and that's got to be a concern. But here's the thing: like you watched Stroud last night. That was what was that for a guy in his 30s? He keeps getting worse. So now the defense obviously is phenomenal for Houston. But if they have to go through that Chargers offensive line, Stroud with the fumbling yips and the terrible accuracy problems.
Yeah, Knicks doesn't scare you either.
No, of course not.
And you already beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
And you blew the second game. You're up 24-7. The Patriots blew that game.
And as I tweeted, I can't wait till they get their asses kicked by a real team. The problem is I don't know when they're going to play a real team. Overall, top to bottom. Would that come in the Super Bowl? Maybe.
Seahawks over the Patriots is 9-1. Patriots over the Seahawks is 12-1 for an exacta. How about this? The NFC West to win the Super Bowl is $1.15. You got 3 of the 4 left in the NFC. You're likely going to have a representative in the Super Bowl.
That's pretty good.
$1.15. But it also shows you when you see the future odds about, San Francisco's the longest shot on the board, and you have both one. Seattle, I think, is unbettable at plus 280. But you have Denver and New England, the top 2 seeds in the AFC, in the middle of the pack. Bills are ahead of them. Rams are the second choice. And they're not getting a lot of respect. Yeah. But that also, maybe it's chalk. Maybe it's New England at Denver in the AFC title game. And I think the Patriots have an excellent shot to win that game because May's so good and Vrabel's an excellent coach.
You imagine that after the entire regular season of us and everybody else questioning, like, where are all the good teams at? The parity taking over, anything can happen. Same thing pretty much over Wild Card Weekend. And then at the end of the day, you have the 1 versus the 2 in the NFC and the AFC. Seahawks hosting the Bears. Broncos hosting the Patriots.
Well, that'd be a huge surprise, especially in the
if chalk holds,
NFC.
yes,
Yeah. Especially in the NFC.
But to your point, look, the Rams are a 3.5-point favorite, 4-point favorite this weekend. Again, the weather is going to be like all-time cold in Chicago there for a game. But as the favorite, so you're going to get one by default in the other game. So if you can bet the NFC West right now to win the Super Bowl, very good chance here, well, a likely chance anyway, that you're going to get both teams from that division playing for the conference title game.
Oh, it's hard. I mean, Denver has made it hard on us. Yeah, you're the 1 seed and you've won 13 of 14, but it hasn't been pretty. And you got blasted at home by Jacksonville. They got whatever they wanted offensively. You played a third-string quarterback on Christmas and almost lost the game. Mm-hmm. You couldn't move the ball again and do much against the Charger backups. You're lucky you got the pick 6. That could have been 6-3 in the fourth quarter. You needed to stop a 2-point conversion against Washington and Mariota. You almost lost to the Raiders at home and only beat them by 7 out here. You were down 9 at home to the Packers.
All-time comeback against the Giants.
Yep.
Had no business winning that game.
Weren't going to beat the Texans unless Stroud got hurt. Should have lost to the Jets in London. Down 14 points in Philly. Won that game. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean
they're making it hard on us here.
Yeah, I know. We know that they have a really good defense, but again, overall, are they a good team? They could have had 7 wins this year,
right? Sure.
If things go differently.
Yeah, I go back to my the Benjamin Solak article about the Denver defensive numbers. What happened against Jacksonville? What happened against Green Bay? Houston, great numbers, phenomenal performance last night. What happened against Arizona, Indy, and the Raiders? And the same thing with Seattle.
They can say about every team left. You could say it, again, every team entering the playoffs.
Yeah.
Major question marks.
Seattle's had a couple that gave up 38 points to Baker and gave up 37 to Stafford.
My money's on Josh Allen to get the job done this weekend. He will rise to the top.
What a story.
And overtake this really good defense, and Bo Nix is not going to be able to outscore him. And it's all going to set up beautifully.
What are they scoring? Well, how many points are they scoring?
Well, they can win Buffalo can win a 17-16 game, or they can win a 33-30 game.
Well, I'd be shocked if that's the score.
Jacksonville went there and did whatever they wanted.
Yeah, I know, but I think this is going to be a lot of runs, and Denver chews clock, and has a long possessions.
I think it's going to open up to where we're going to get an AFC title game where Josh Allen's involved, and then everybody's going to say, look at this, huh? They're finally going to take advantage of it when they're the 6th seed. And they were a dog at Jacksonville.
Yes. Yeah.
They had no business going to Denver winning, and there's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow, and there is no Lamar Jackson, and he is finally going to capitalize on that. And it's going to work out for them in the end. And the Bills, by the way, getting there and the Super Bowl is, come on, that's awesome if they can do it. I don't think they're a very good football team, top to bottom. Their defense has several issues, and he has nobody to throw the ball to.
Yep.
But the guy's a freaking alien, man.
I'm with you with Nick's rushing yards, and also Denver could have a big day on the ground. What's going to change in the 49er game?
Darnold is a disaster.
At home?
That's if. Here's what can change to make it a game. Again, the Niners slow down the Seahawks running attack.
I don't see that happening.
It might not, but I'm saying if it
Because
does, then you have a ball game.
All right, Seattle's on a roll with the rushing attack now. That's 3 solid games, what they've done on the ground. And that defense was phenomenal in the win to get the 1 seed against Purdy. Purdy could also melt down. The interception wasn't his fault. Then again, as well as Seattle played, that could have been 13-10 with 3 minutes left if McCaffrey hangs on to it.
Right.
But now you don't have Kittle. Demoralizing. The big bump is they think they have Warner if they win the game. That possibly could happen if you get to the NFC title game. But, man, I don't have a problem with it because I want to see them reward 1 seeds. And it was just weird how they held us hostage where we're not going to give out the networks or the start times until after the Monday night. But to go from Sunday night in Philly and now you got to go to Seattle on a Saturday, that's a tough turnaround.
It's a very difficult spot. I would also say that we brought this up on the Sunday morning tailgate show, which we've done all year long throughout the regular season. Now in the playoffs, it begins at 9 a.m. Eastern right here in VSiN. The Purdy INT angle I thought was good against the Eagles. First of all, the Opt-AI stats had him throwing more than 2 interceptions in the game. He did throw 2. Mm-hmm. Also, they had him projecting for like 36 attempts. And I would say that again, if he's going to throw the ball 32 to 37, 38 times, I think there's a pretty good chance the Seahawks defense will be able to grab one of them.
Second fewest points allowed. 9 of the last 12 opponents held to 20 points or fewer. League low 3.7 yards per carry.
Yeah, they are
26
nasty.
Games in a row, they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. But second most turnovers in the league, and Sam led the league himself.
By the way,
but the Niners turned it over too.
Sure, you can get the Seahawks defense with tight ends. Sucks there's no Kittle, maybe Tom, but also you can get him in the air with running backs. So I think with no Kittle now, you've been on McCaffrey all year long. It's McCaffrey again in the air in this game. Because you really can't run the ball against the Seahawks.
Do we see Robinson again? What a game he had. 25-1 first touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, that's unlikely to repeat, but it could be a Jennings game.
Could be. The Super Bowl you want to see. Bears beat the Bills 60-1. Bills beat the Bears 52-1. The Bill Barnwell prediction. Bills beat the Rams 14-1. Rams beat the Bills 13-1.
Yeah, give me that game too.
That's a good one. For
my wallet, I say give me Rams Bills, yeah.
Football meets flavor with VSiN and Omaha Steaks, the official sponsor of tailgating. And right now, when you spend $129, you get 2 pounds of fully cooked wings, 50% off site-wide. Don't wait. Spend it now and get 2 pounds of wings. The menu's incredible. The selection, the variety. omahasteaks.com/VSiN delivered right to your door.
Professional Sports Bettor Paul Stone in the program coming up next. He has a couple of best bets in the national title game. Huge number. What does he make of it? Find out next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Little natty title game. Transfer portal. Here with Professional Sports Bettor Paul Stone. Been kind enough to join us as always every single Tuesday at this time. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X. At Paul Stone Sports. Now, this is kind of no man's land other than like teasers. People say don't tease college football games, but if you wanted to get involved, Indiana down to 2.5. How about this? The South Point has moved to 9 here on the game, Paul. Overall, your thoughts on where the point spread is sitting right now with Indiana that big of a favorite against Miami next Monday night?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. You know, after Indiana had just basically dismantled Alabama 38-3 in that quarterfinal victory, Kirk Cignetti in that post-game interview, on-field interview, famously said it'd make a hell of a movie. And it would. And I think to a degree, using that same analogy, I think Miami kind of feels like an extra in Indiana's movie. I mean, Indiana is such a compelling story. It's such a great story. One of the greatest college football turnarounds in my lifetime, without question. But Indiana, they feel like an afterthought, I think, in many ways. This was a team, obviously, that many felt didn't belong in the 12-team playoff, talking about Miami. They lost conference games in a watered-down ACC, lost at home to Louisville. Then they lose at SMU in overtime on November 1st. And they had to win their last, several regular season games even to be considered. They get in the field. They've taken advantage of it. But just to look at this Miami team, this is, first of all, not a Miami team obviously void of talent. This is a very talented team. I saw one story today that projects them to have 8 NFL draft choices in the upcoming April NFL draft. A few odds and ends here, according to, relating to point spreads and so forth. They faced 7 teams this season ranked in the AP top 25 at the time of their game. They not only defeated all 7 of those teams, they covered against all 7 of those teams. And 5 of those 7 teams were not only in the top 25, but 5 of them were in the top 10. Single-digit games, whether Miami was the favorite or the underdog. In single-digit games, point spread-wise, Miami 7-0 this year against the spread. Also, the Hurricanes, they've been underdogs 3 times this year. Of course, the season opener at home against Notre Dame, and then playoff games against both Texas A&M and Ohio State. They not only covered all games, but obviously won all 3 of those games. Indiana, a great football team. They have steamrolled the majority of their opponents, but they are beatable. They needed a last-minute touchdown at Iowa to defeat the Hawkeyes, who were unranked at the time earlier this year, and they also needed a touchdown in the final seconds to beat Penn State at Penn State, a Penn State team that was in the midst of a 6-game losing streak and playing with their backup quarterback. So they can be defeated. And this Miami team does have talent. You look at the look-ahead line before this matchup, before the semifinal matchups, rather, Indiana was -5.5. Following the semifinal results, Indiana reopens at -7.5. And as you mentioned, bet up to 9 at some books as of today. I think there's a lot of interest in Indiana, obviously. I think Miami's got a shot. I recommend taking a full unit and splitting it. 60% on Miami plus the points, either 8.5 or 9, and then the other 40% on the money line. You can find plus 290 at both Westgate and the Circa where you guys are. So split a unit on Miami. I think the U is going to make a case and maybe get the victory.
Making good points, and I love both teams here, but I think we're getting carried away in the last week where people are saying this team could be better than the Joe Burrow LSU team. I mean, the hype train is really getting out of control here. Do you think it's a correlated parlay? That if you like Miami, put it with the under? Because they're going to have to slow it down. And I was talking to a lot of people while the Ole Miss game was going on. And Carson Beck played well. I would have run the ball every play. How they were blowing him off the line of scrimmage and how dangerous Fletcher is. And they were getting 5 yards a carry. Do you think they shorten the game and chew clock?
I think that's certainly an approach you could take. I would only bet the under, and I think it's to Miami's advantage to try to run the football with Fletcher, keep Beck out of harm's way. Beck has certainly been, shown the propensity for the turnover at times, although he's protected the football well in the playoffs. So shortening the game and trying to win it with the running game and keeping Fernando Mendoza off the field is certainly a good approach to the game from Miami's perspective.
So I haven't noticed yet. We're talking to Paul Stone here on the Progressive Guest Line, professional sports bettor on X at Paul Stone Sports. I also haven't done like a deep dive on searching across the globe here for national title numbers for next year. Maybe there's a book or two that has it up right now. But what have you noticed, teams that you've maybe circled to keep an eye on here for the audience next year once those odds do drop based on how they have performed so far in the transfer portal?
I'll say, first of all, as far as I really hadn't checked odds, I'm just trying to keep up with all these guys committing to the teams right now. I've got my notebook is in perfect order right now. But Indiana, I think they're going to be the preseason number 1, regardless of what happens Monday night against Miami. This is a team that, despite being in the middle of a playoff run, they have fared well in the portal. I mean, obviously, their first order of business was finding a replacement for Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza. They went to Fort Worth, Texas to get that job accomplished. TCU transferred Josh Hoover. He's a guy who's played a lot of big-time football, started 31 games in his career. NFL scouts have been salivating over Hoover for several years. So I think Indiana will be one of the preseason number 1 rather. And then another team last year, before this season rather, Texas was the preseason number 1 for the first time in school history and had the Heisman Trophy favorite in Arch Manning. Obviously, neither one of those things worked out in the Longhorns' favor. But I'll say this, and this is no surprise, and these markets are already up, but Arch Manning, he will again be the Heisman Trophy betting favorite in 2026. I don't think Texas is going to be the number one preseason team, as I indicated by my choice of Indiana, but Texas is going to be in the top 3 or 4. They've done fantastic in the portal. They have added wide receiver Cam Coleman from Auburn, a former 5-star running backs, Ray Leek Brown from Arizona State, Hollywood Smothers from North Carolina State. They have fortified their defense with Pitt linebacker Rasheem Biles, two-time All-AC selection with over 30 tackles for loss in his career. So they have done some big things there. LSU with a new coach, as you might expect, Lane Kiffin, they've done great things in the portal as well. They have found their quarterback in Sam Leavitt. Texas Tech and Texas A&M also predictably have done well in the portal. And then you look at some teams kind of under the radar in the portal that won't be necessarily top 10 or top 15 preseason teams, but teams to keep an eye on that are turning their roster over and could see considerable improvement in 2026. I'll start with Kentucky and their first-year head coach, Will Stein. He's a guy who's a native of Louisville, so he's familiar with the lay of the land there in Kentucky. Most recently, he has served as Oregon offensive coordinator. He has 26 portal commitments so far, so he has a lot of numbers. Some media members are ranking this as a top 10 portal class at the present. He has brought in a couple of Longhorns, running back C.J. Baxter and linebacker Elijah Barnes. Has also added Tennessee left tackle Lance Hurd, who's a former 5-star recruit, Oklahoma running back Javante Barnes, and Notre Dame backup quarterback Kenny Minchie. And then finally, another team, Oklahoma State. And you're talking about a team whose fortunes really fell swiftly from year 2023 when they played in the Big 12 championship game against Texas to this most recently completed season, 2025, when they were 1-11 on the season, 0-9 in conference play, outscored 400 to 170, arguably, maybe inarguably, the worst team in the Power 4 structure. But they bring in Eric Morris from North Texas, and Eric Morris basically took a truck, a big truck, and hooked up the football office in North Texas to the truck on a trailer or whatever, put all the players in it, and drove it to Stillwater because he's got basically North Texas's roster there in Stillwater. A little bit of an overstatement, but he certainly has their best players, their best offensive players. Quarterback Drew Mestamaker threw for almost 4,400 yards this year. Caleb Hawkins, as a true freshman at North Texas this year, rushed for over 1,400 yards. He is a big-time back. And then also North Texas's top receiver, Wyatt Young, 70 catches, 1,264 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think Oklahoma State's going to be much improved. I think Kentucky as well will be much improved.
Very good. Great breakdown. Follow him on X again at Paul Stone Sports. And to go over it again quickly here, Miami plus 8.5, Miami around plus 290 on the money line, 60-40 split on those two bets, your best bets for the national title game. Pleasure talking to you all year long, Paul. Enjoy the game next Monday night, and best of luck.
Hey, thanks for having me on, and you guys have a great week, and good luck.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. He was on the progressive guest line. Maybe Oklahoma State or Kentucky could be a team like Texas Tech next year. That's what you got to try to find in the futures market.
I like Tech again.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be loaded.
Yeah, they may upgrade at a quarterback.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's going to be a team again that will open at like 200 to 1, higher than that. They say, well, we got a lot of money we can spend.
I think that kid can play in the NFL. Big.
From North Texas.
Yeah, Mestamaker.
He's good.
Yeah.
Up next, updated odds to win the Super Bowl MVP. I was stunned when reminded this has not occurred since the late 1990s. I'll tell you what it is next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
News from earlier today, can you believe it? Mike Tomlin, head coach, Pittsburgh Steelers for 19 years, decided to step down. Not fired. His decision, walking away. And now reports since this broke a few hours ago, something that Pauly and I were saying earlier in the show, like don't waste money on him to be the next head coach on these prediction markets of any spot where you can find that. It feels to me like he's going to either take the year off or, once Buck and Aikman brought that up last night about how he has something lined up if he wants it tomorrow in TV. Then it's like, okay, they definitely have been told something. They've been in talks probably. They know it already. Yeah. He's probably going to take a TV job. He's not, according to the reports now, he's not going to be coaching next year in the NFL.
What's this mutual admiration society between him and Rodgers, too? Rodgers couldn't stop singing his praises after the game. It's like you've been with the guy for a year.
Maybe they both, maybe both knew that they were going to ride off into the sunset if it didn't end well.
Come on.
I don't know.
Listen, he's had a great career, but it was absolutely fair that he was on the hot seat and they needed a change, and there's a reason the fans kept chanting "Fire Tomlin" during games. For them to go this long without a playoff win, and he tied the record for a 7-game losing streak. 2016, the last time they won a playoff game. And as Bill Barnwell tweeted, look at all these games. They never had a single play in the second half where they had the lead.
I would also fight back and just say, at least the last handful of years, they just have not been a very good football team.
They can't get the quarterback thing right.
No, not at all. And I don't think
hurts.
I don't think they have an abundance of talent like scattered throughout the entire roster, right?
Yeah. Watching that last night, it was what has happened to C.J. Stroud, and also damn you Baltimore Ravens. You couldn't stop this offense twice. He lit you up twice. You couldn't hold a lead twice in the fourth quarter against this team that struggles to get a first down. Come on. But polarizing career, no doubt. And had success right off the bat. And then finished with an 8-12 playoff record. Also like Rodgers. 12-11 career playoff record. And all the tough losses in Green Bay. With a great seed, mind you. At least the Tomlin thing, most of these games, they were outmanned. You're playing Mahomes. You're a dog in these games. You know, you upset Alex Smith one year. But with Rodgers, how many times is he the 1 or the 2 seed and lost the game?
Most
with
times.
Home field.
But I will also point out that he was so ridiculously good and talented in those regular seasons that without a lot of help that he carried those teams to 12, 13, 14 wins.
Fair enough.
Would you agree with this? This is from Lance Zierlein, who does a great job when it comes to the draft. He tweeted out after the game, timing isn't great, but in my lifetime, Aaron Rodgers was the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. I'm not trying to argue with anyone about championships or anything like that. Accuracy, release quickness, arm talent, precision, mobility. He had everything. I can't disagree. Overall talent, him or Mahomes really. Also, the guy he wasn't as mobile, but the guy who really gets lost is Dan Marino.
Yes.
For this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
But Rodgers was so good, and I said this all the time. I felt like the organization wasted him in Green Bay. And I will never get over, like, the year that they drafted Jordan Love, the pandemic season, right? They panicked because it looked like he was done. They were the 2 seed. They got blasted by San Francisco. And they drafted for the future that year. And what did Rodgers come out and do? Gave them the middle finger and won the MVP 2 years in a row, played the best football of his life. And they did not draft to help him win those next 2 years.
Yeah. I also think there were chemistry issues, too. You mentioned it after the Buffalo game. You saw it last night. Even Brian Mahoney, who covers the NBA, pointed out, boy, not a lot of pat on the backs and, helping him out after he threw the pick six or the first defensive touchdown. And it just seemed how many times they couldn't get on the same page in the kumbaya at his house. Let's watch film together. Then you see how animated it is on the sideline about Austin running the wrong route or miscommunication there, too. It's the playoffs. How you guys weren't on the same page the whole year.
Well,
he's also quick to throw someone under the bus,
Oh, no question. Like, he would be one of the most difficult guys to get along with that we've seen play sports in any sport you want to throw at me. He goes out of his way to make it kind of uncomfortable. So. Yeah,
it's time to go, though. I mean, it was a good turnaround after what happened with the Jets. To come back, go to Pittsburgh, and win the division. And at least you won 10 games. But you just see no mobility and the body breaking down. And you couldn't hit one time on a deep throw. Metcalf didn't help you out.
No.
I mean, if DK catches that, who knows? Maybe it's 10-0 if he hangs on to that one that sets him up deep in Houston territory.
All right, so a couple of books have up Super Bowl MVP. They reposted after the game last night. We talked about this a little bit last week. We'll try to update throughout the rest of the playoffs. The quarterback has won the award 34 times out of 59 Super Bowls. 34 times. So if you didn't know, I mean, obviously, I think most of you listening right now or watching, you would be aware of that. It has turned into a quarterback award for the most part, although only 3 quarterbacks have won it in a row. It hasn't been like 10 years in a row. It's only been 3. Hurts, Mahomes, and Mahomes going back. If you gut reaction here, which position has won the Super Bowl MVP more? Running backs or wide receivers? I know when I was looking at this last night, I would have guessed one of them for sure. Heartbeat, I would have said.
Okay, by how you asked the question, I'll say wide receiver.
Yeah. They've won it 8 times. Running backs, they've won it 7 times.
Okay.
And the last running back to win, you probably know this, to win the award?
I don't know that. Is it TD?
It is.
Oh, it is TD.
Terrell Davis back in 1997.
Wow.
So just, I guess, burning money every single year to bet on a running back to win it. A wide receiver has won it 8 times. The last wide receiver to win it, Cooper Kupp in 2021. Julian Edelman in 2018.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
James White, a lot of people felt was robbed.
Yeah, that was in the Atlanta game.
James White was incredible in that game.
Santonio Holmes won it in 2008. Deserved it, right?
It was a great catch.
Great throw.
It was a weird game.
Unbelievable catch. Mm-hmm. Hines Ward in 2005. Deion Branch in 2004. The last defensive player to win. Von Miller in 2015. Malcolm Smith won it for the Seahawks in 2013. Dexter Lawrence, Buccaneers, 2002. Ray Lewis in 2000. So generally, you're going to be wanting to bet on these quarterbacks right now. I will point out a couple of numbers that if these teams make it, again, I always want to look at the kicker, at least because going back a couple of years, Butker, I had more than 400 to 1. I think if that played out where this was the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, Chiefs 49ers, if he kicked his 5th field goal of the game to win it, and that's pretty much all the points they had, I think I had a winner there at 400 to 1. I can say that I can't prove it. But like kickers that could win the game for teams, clearly Fairbairn jumps off the page.
There's no doubt, set the record.
2001 at FanDuel, Super Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm. He could have 5 and they could, they don't score a touchdown. He kicks 5 field goals. It holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely could happen.
Other non-quarterbacks I wrote down, again, the story of the day for Houston would be Fairbairn or the defense.
Yeah.
Hunter and Anderson are 75 to 1. I'm just trying to think, like, what would they be Super Bowl week? I think they might be lower than 25 to 1 because they're so good.
Seattle's a good discussion because you're throwing out Darnold. So it also means, like, if JSN eats, what would they do if JSN has like 135 yards on 9 catches, but he gets tackled a couple times inside the 5, and then Charbonnet cleans up the mess?
Oh.
Would Charbonnet then get it if he has 60 yards and 3 scores?
Oh, 3 scores,
2 scores, something like that. Even though JSN's doing all the heavy lifting, and then whether it's Walker or Charbonnet running it in for 2 yards out.
Well, remember, Kupp got
That's
it a couple
tough.
years ago when he had, that was, I think, that was the regular season where he was in the mix to win the MVP, was the Offensive Player of the Year, and Darnold was okay in the game. Wasn't like, not Darnold, Stafford wasn't amazing, and they gave it to Kupp. And I think the same thing could happen there where if JSN pops and Darnold doesn't do much more, he could be the guy. Nick Bonito for the Broncos, great on defense, 80 to 1.
What's Bo Nix?
I didn't even write down any of the quarterbacks because the lowest guys on the board are all the quarterbacks, except for, I think, 2.
Well, people would want to pivot, too, with anything Denver-related.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think you're right.
Like, May, I'm all on board. If the Patriots make it, I want May. I just think Patriots win. It's going to be because of May. But you could see another low-scoring game and how bad Nix has had some poor moments, too, that you'd want to pivot and look at other guys for Denver. Here
are the only 2 running backs I would look at based on the number and how they could actually win the Super Bowl. Swift is 140 to 1. Monangai is 500 to 1. If the Bears make it, I think there's a chance where in the Super Bowl, Ben Johnson has a great game plan designed on the run, and one of those guys pops, goes off for $150. Swift could do it in the air as well.
I don't think Monangai will get enough touches.
He might not.
Swift, I like Swift, though.
Yeah, Swift right now, but...
And it appears he's got a rapport with Loveland going, too.
Oh, that's true.
I certainly could see him going crazy in a couple of these games again.
Yeah. Who would the back be for the Patriots? You want to try to figure that one out?
Well, that'd be Stevenson.
Probably.
Yep.
He's 60. Kyron Williams, 75. There's an angle here where he might score 3 touchdowns in a big game like that.
Yes.
Dan Leberfeld next covers the Jets in the league for Sirius XM NFL Radio. I want his perspective on Mike Tomlin's run in Pittsburgh. Wouldn't nearly half the league sign up for that?